Welcome to this episode of the Sports Detective Podcast Show. My name is James Williams, and today Travis Hunter should win the Heisman Trophy. All right, I don't have to tell you guys what we're talking about here. You guys all know this. Since the season has started for the Colorado Buffaloes, Travis Hunter has soared up to the top of the Heisman Trophy betting odds. He is currently third right now. I believe Jalen Milroe is still first atop of those odds. And if we are looking at Travis Hunter right now and the season that he is compiling for Colorado, if he keeps this up for 12 games, there is no question that he should win the Heisman Trophy. So in this video here today, we're going to talk about the crazy historic outlier that Travis Hunter is and why he is considered a Heisman candidate and why, if he keeps this up, he should be a no-brainer Heisman Trophy winner. And then I'm also going to talk to you guys. We're going to live in the real world for a little bit because, it is a historic outlier for Travis Hunter. And we do see that as this Heisman Trophy has gone along this century, it has become more of a quarterback award. I don't think it should be a quarterback award. I don't think anybody should think it is a quarterback award, but that's kind of what it's turned into. So we're going to go into the reasons of why he might not win it. Okay. So let's start off here. Let's talk about Travis Hunter and let's talk about how great of a season he has been having. Because when I've been hearing a lot of people talk about Travis Hunter, I don't think they bring you guys any sort of stats when it comes to this stuff. So they more just say, oh my God, he's playing both sides of the ball and he's really good on both sides of the ball. So if you look at Travis Hunter as a wide receiver right now, after 5 games, he is third in all of FBS in receptions. He's fifth in receiving yards, and he's tied third in receiving touchdowns. So you're looking at him as a wide receiver. He's an elite All-American wide receiver as of today. If you're looking at him on the defensive side of the ball, it's a defensive back. If you're looking at Pro Football Focus, you look at guys that have played over 50% of snaps. He is fourth in defensive rating among all defensive backs, and then he is second in coverage grade among all defensive backs that have played over 50% of snaps. So you're looking at Travis Hunter on both sides of the ball as an All-American right now. Not to mention that he is doing that while playing the other side of the ball. So he's playing the entire game, basically. So the fact that he has the stamina to do that and the fact that he has the talent on both sides of the ball to do that and be elite at both, that is why this guy is a Heisman Trophy winner. And if you're looking at his candidacy right now as it pertains to how he is helping Colorado win games, if you just take Travis Hunter off this team, are they 2-3 right now? Are they 1-4? Like, he single-handedly, I think, won them that Baylor game. He was, I think if you take him out of that North Dakota State game, that game was also very, very close. Do they lose both of those games? Like, he has been absolutely the best player in college football right now. I also didn't mention he's got 2 interceptions, 1 forced fumble. He is the only player he's one of 2 players since the turn of the century that have multiple games where they have a touchdown and interception in those games. The only other person to do that is Aqib Talib. He is an absolute stud, but he is a historic outlier because if you look at how the Heisman Trophy is voted on and who usually wins the award, we have only had a few instances where wide receivers have won. We've only had one instance where a defensive player has won. So if you look at the wide receivers, Tim Brown for Notre Dame won in 87, Desmond Howard for Michigan won in 1991, and then 2020 Devontae Smith won. So those are the 3 Heisman Trophy winners for wide receivers. Defensive side of the ball, we've only had one defensive player ever win the Heisman Trophy, and that was Charles Woodson in 1997. The thing that Travis Hunter has benefiting for him, though, is that he does play both sides of the ball. So that's almost an added element to him where you're looking at that candidacy and you're looking at the actual definition of the award. It's supposed to go to the most outstanding player in all of college football. And that is what Travis Hunter has been through 5 games. So I gave you guys the stats. I gave you guys the reasons that he should win the award. But let's get into the reasons where he potentially might not win the award. Because again, I want to point this out here for you guys. It's more likely as of today that he doesn't win the award than he does. Okay, I want to point that out here because, one, the voting system's kind of rigged where a lot of times it's more favored towards the SEC. And then there's also a lot of other factors here that could help prevent Travis Hunter from actually winning this award. So, again, we already brought up the fact that receivers, defensive players don't usually win this award. Here's a few other things that could really deter Travis Hunter from winning this award. We have not seen since 1969. We have not seen any player win the Heisman Trophy with their team having 4 losses or more. We have not seen that since 1969. Now we've had a few. Now sometimes looking back at the Heisman Trophy, you look back at some of the years, you're like, what the heck is going on with this award? It's really, really weird. But we have not seen any player since 1965 have 4 or more losses win the award. So you might say that right now. It's like, oh, well, we don't know. Colorado's hot right now. I think they probably maybe played the two of their easiest opponents in the Big 12 in these first 2 weeks. And Baylor, they probably should have lost that game, by the way. So if you're projecting Colorado out, if you're looking at their projected win total before the season, probably their ceiling is 7-5, 8-4, and then their basement is probably at this point 5-7, 6-6. So if I think if Travis Hunter has a shot to win the Heisman, Colorado's going to have to win 8 games minimum, and that is a pretty uphill hill to climb, because if you look at how the Big 12 scheduled Colorado this year, they gave them one of the tougher schedules in the Big 12. Their next two, I know they have a bye this week, but their next 2 weeks are playing Kansas State, who's a ranked opponent. They play Arizona, who is a very talented team. They play Utah later in the year. They play Oklahoma State later in the year. They play Cincinnati, who is an improved team from last year, and they go to Texas Tech, go to Lubbock later in the season. And Lubbock is a pretty tough place to play if Texas Tech does have it rolling. So it is a tougher schedule than a lot of people might think. A few other things that, if you're looking at just the guys that, let's say, best case scenario, he does get to that win-loss threshold of 9-3. Now, again, even if you look at 9-3 Heisman Trophy winners, there isn't that many of those either. 3-loss Heisman Trophy winners. So we have Jim Plunkett. I'm gonna do that since the 1969 stat. Jim Plunkett in 1970, George Rogers, South Carolina, Marcus Allen, Bo Jackson, Tim Brown, Ricky Williams, Tim Tebow, RG3, Lamar Jackson, and then last year Jaden Daniels. So again, him getting to that 8-4, 9-3, it's still going to be an uphill battle because we don't see teams, or excuse me, the Heisman Trophy voters vote for those guys that often. All right. So other reasons that Travis Hunter could potentially not win this award. Again, this ties in with their overall record, but we have only seen 2 guys since 2016 win the award that were not in their conference championship game. And that was Lamar Jackson in 2016, and that was Jaden Daniels in last year. Okay. So again, if Colorado is just kind of like a, above average or average Big 12 team, and Travis Hunter's still putting up these numbers, there's a chance that he might not win the award because they're always going to have that caveat. Are we really going to give the award to a 7-5 team? Okay. Here's another thing that could really trip up Travis Hunter. And this one has nothing to do with him or Colorado. There's just a chance that the voters might find some of these other candidates more savory. Okay, so if you're looking at Jalen Milroe right now, he's the guy that is currently the favorite. He just had a huge game against Georgia, one of the best teams in the country. He's probably going to have the opportunity to play in a conference championship game because, again, we started having the Heisman Trophy voting after after the conference championship game now. So Jalen Milroe will have a chance to more than likely be in the national spotlight for that game. He also has games against Tennessee later this year and Missouri, who are currently top 10 teams. So I think those are other things that could help, help Jalen Milroe get more votes and more opportunity for people to see him have Heisman, quote unquote Heisman moments. Another candidate too that if Travis Hunter doesn't win, because I want the award to go to people that aren't quarterbacks every year. I'm tired of having the Alabama quarterback or the LSU quarterback win it every single year, or the Oklahoma quarterback or USC quarterback. If you're looking at another candidate that has an outside shot, Ashton Jeanty from Boise State right now, he is on pace to have 2,500 yards from scrimmage. He's a running back for Boise State and 39 rushing touchdowns. Now, again, he probably won't keep up that pace, but he is on a good G5 team in Boise State. And if they win 10, 11 games, right now they only have 1 loss to Oregon, which was a field goal loss. They go on, win 10, 11 games, and he is just balling the whole year. That is another guy that could potentially steal shine from Travis Hunter. Because, again, Travis Hunter is going to, it's not that just he's going to have to keep playing on both sides of the ball the way that he is right now, right? He's going to have to keep up being an All-American on both sides of the ball. That's what he's going to have to do. It can't just be like, oh, he's second team All-American receiver, first team All-American defensive back. No, he's going to have to be the best player at his position on both sides of the ball, basically. And that is a tall task to ask for Travis Hunter, even though he has the ability to do that. Also, too, last year he only played 9 games. I say only, but there is a health thing with Travis Hunter. Can he hold up playing 130 snaps a game through an entire Big 12 schedule, through the last 7 games of the Big 12 schedule? Now, he looks pretty good now, looks pretty healthy now, but just the fact that you're on the field more does mean that you are more prone to wear and tear injuries and more prone to, just the little ticky-tacky accidental injuries that do happen, because football is a contact sport and it is probably one of the most dangerous sports that we have in the United States. So those are basically the biggest reasons on why he could potentially not do it, just because of the fact if Colorado doesn't keep up the winning right now. I believe, did they start off 4-1 last year? They either started off 4-1 last year, 4-2 last year, and then they ended up being 4-8. So if they can't keep up the winning, then I do think it is just completely over for Travis Hunter. And yeah, these other candidates might just end up having really good years, and then the voting can get all scrambled when it comes to that too. Because again, it is kind of tiered towards the SEC when it comes to a lot of this voting and stuff like that. Because the Heisman Trophy is an incredibly flawed award, which is why I think people have started caring less and less and less about it as the years have gone on, since the days of Reggie Bush winning it. So there you have it, guys. That's going to do it here today. This will be the last thing I add. Credit to Travis Hunter. Not just because of all the on-field stuff too. This is a guy that he was the number 1 overall recruit. I believe he's the number 1 overall recruit coming out of high school. He was committed to Florida State. He flips to Jackson State. This dude could have had his pick of where he wanted to go to school. He could have went and been a cog in machine in Georgia. He could have went to Alabama. He could have went to Florida State, obviously. Could have went to Miami, Florida, wherever. Ohio State, probably. He could have went anywhere he wanted to. He took a chance. He went to Jackson State. He followed Deion to Colorado. And I'm just very happy to him that he had that, courage to go ahead and kind of take the path less traveled by. And I think it's paying off, because I think this dude's going to be a top 5 pick in the NFL draft. And he's going to be an All-American again for sure. So whether or not he wins the Heisman Trophy, that remains to be seen. But credit to him, because if there's anything that, if you've ever been critical of Colorado, how Deion's built his team, how, off the field kind of nonsense, how they handle things with the media, how they handle things online, Travis Hunter has always been a bright spot of this team. And, no matter what you think of them, I think everyone can admit that. So there you have it. That's going to do it for this episode here today. If you like this episode here today, please hit that like button if you haven't done so already, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. That is the number 1 thing that you can do to help support this show, and it costs you absolutely $0. Feel free to check out other videos from the Sports Detective Podcast channel. You might like them. We talk college, we talk NFL, we talk a little NBA when we're starting to get that season rolling up here in the next few weeks. So if you like all that stuff, subscribe and check out other videos that we have going on here. So thank you very much for watching. I'll talk to you next time.